Hello, my name is Allison, and today we will be talking about how noise pollution affects wildlife. From this image, what do we see? We see two people walking around in the city with construction, with airplanes, with the honking, and with just a busy time on the road. This is noise pollution, where there's loud traffic, there's airplanes, there's constructions, there's industries, there's everything, a commotion going around. You haven't even realized that in our everyday lives, our routine affects the animals we commonly see. Animals rely on communication by finding their mates, hunting, avoiding predators, and for navigation. With noise pollution, studies have shown that the male have a higher chance to be heard since the female vocals are low. With the noise pollution, it does create a stressful response for them. Humans do make the noise and it disrupts their natural sounds, so it's harder for them to struggle to survive or even to communicate. Now we'll move away to the ocean. The ocean noise pollution. So within the ocean, there are ships everywhere, whether it's shipping, whether it's cargo, whether it's anything that has to do with business or industries. With this noise pollution, it has doubled the ocean noise in some regions, and industries have made it difficult for animals to hear each other's callings, finding it harder to stay together. So sonars, they send pulses of sound down to the deep depths of the ocean that bounce off the object from echo of the ships. So in this visual, you can see that these sounds travel hundreds of miles under the water, which conflicts with the echolocation. And echolocation is location by objects reflected by sound. So the sound waves travels through the air and the water, and it bounces off back to the animal's ears. Whales and dolphins are the most affected in this because that's their only way of communication, and because of the ships and because of the sounds that travel through the water makes it very difficult for them to speak or to even listen. Moving away from ocean, now we'll focus on the land animals. So how does noise pollution affect land animals? Well, there's helicopters, there's planes, cars. There's so much going around, whether it's in the morning, whether it's in the afternoon, or whether it's at night. There's also construction. So, with this, it's harder for land animals to survive, and it impacts the way they reproduce and how they communicate. Birds have to sing higher so they can reach out and see where everyone's located. Believe it or not, but it also weakens their immune system. It stresses their hormones, and it even affects the way they feed as well. Even when there's construction going around, when you're walking your dog, like this image right here, it does bother them too. It makes it harder for them to really spectate and hear everything. It's not just land animals, but it's also ocean. Statistics show that migration patterns have changed. Birds in noisy environments have been singing at night so they can be heard throughout the city. All animals, whether they're in land, they're in the marine life, birds, insect, mammals, all rely on sound, and that's how they use warning signals, whether there's predator or they're preying.
31% of reduction in birds abundance have been observed near high noise areas. So the birds near highways sing at higher frequencies. So you're wondering, why does this matter? Population has declined, food chains have been disrupted, animals have found it difficult to communicate and to reproduce, and the ecosystem becomes unstable for them. So with problems comes a solution. So starting with the first solution, it would be quieter transportations. Using bicycles and electrical cars, it provides less noises. So like during rush hour, during the morning, during the afternoon, night,
They
or
also provide
anytime,
quieter
it'll help
engines.
animals
And
communicate with
with
each other.
technology being very advanced nowadays, we have Teslas, we have Rivians, and we also have well known brands like Toyota and Honda that also provide cars that are hybrid or even electrical cars. Also, when we go to cities as well, we see electrical scooters, we see electrical bikes, or we see just regular bikes where people can use around to save the ecosystem, to save gas, and to save all that pollution that's causing harm all around us. It is important to bring attention and awareness to this, especially in cities, states, all around the world, and communities as well, because no one really thinks about how noise pollution what our daily life is does affect our animals around us, whether it's squirrels, whether it's birds, whether it's deers, whether it's bears, everything comes into effect. Our second solution can be creating quiet zone. So public areas can establish quiet zones that encourage visitors to protect their surroundings and reduce noises. So this gives animals a safe breeding and communication. It could be implemented in national parks, marine life, and can also limit construction at night in urban areas. So it creates that sound barrier. So now animals are able to communicate whether it doesn't really matter the time frame or anything. Humans shouldn't be making this much of an impact affecting them in their behavior and their health. And for my third solution, it's an overall suggestion. I've stepped out of the noise pollution of the community and more of location wise, which is zoos and aquariums. And what I mean by this is sometimes when we go to zoos or aquariums, we want to interact with the animals, we want to know them, we want to see them in real lives and, and get to really just see their environment. And sometimes, especially during aquariums, we knock on the glass walls and knocking on them does bother them and can affect their heart rates and momentum. And not only just the glass walls, but it could also be knocking on the cages. It could disturb them. They're in their natural habitat, so disturbing them does affect them mentally and their behaviors. That's why you see a lot of stories at zoos and everything like that. And last but not least, not only just for the land animals, but also for the marine life, we have this acoustic monitoring, which observes and understands what and how animals communicate. And with this machine, we also know what disrupts them. We see their population increase or decrease depending on what's going on with like ships, the industries, everything that's impacting in the wildlife. We are also able to see species distribution and their locations and where they migrate and how they migrate and how some sound waves can affect them. We could also get to understand their psychological state and their behaviors as well. So, concluding with all this, these small changes in human activity can make a difference. It would create peaceful neighborhoods, cities, and animals will be able to communicate and not be disrupted by human actions. Remember one thing: noise pollution may be invisible, but it affects the wildlife. It's surrounding us everywhere. And in order to bring awareness to this, we have to protect our animals, creating a quieter and healthier environment for everyone. This is all around the world, especially we could start here in New York.